Hello and welcome to the 10th episode of Gents talking current events. I'm Paul, it's my brother Joe,
Hello.
And our nephew James.
What's going on?
As always, just want to remind you that we are just three guys that really don't know anything, but we like to smoke cigars, have a few drinks, and talk about what's going on in the world. So we hope you subscribe, like what we have to say, and if you don't like what we have to say, we want to hear from you both ways.
100%.
Comment and let us know what's going on.
This time I'm going to just come out and say it because you get so excited about our subscriber count.
We're at 1,000.
No.
900.
No. We hit 50.
Woohoo! So
Which
now,
to
if
us-
I understand correctly,
To us, that's just a big milestone.
5-0? 5-0, finally.
Goodness.
So if I understand correctly,
Yes.
that means we can technically go live.
In a very minor sense, yes, we can go live, which is what we were aiming for. We were hoping to go live.
Because I think as soon as we start going live, it's done. We're going to be,
Huge.
oh yeah.
I mean, I'm up for it.
I know there's people in Italy can't wait to hear from us.
Yes. Nepal.
Yeah.
Everybody.
South
Trump.
Korea.
People will stop going to work just to listen to our podcast.
Yes.
No,
It's a good thing we do it in the evening. Well, some people work in the evening, so.
No, I think it's great. I'm excited, and hopefully we can do it. I think we have 51 subscribers as of recording this, and I think it's just
People are probably
The
thinking these guys are excited about 51
I know.
subscribers.
Well, when we started this, I did not expect to just have anybody want to subscribe to us. You know, obviously you have family that subscribes, and you're like, okay, wow, thanks, mom. But you know, what I mean, you actually have people that you have no idea who they are.
We do have a big family. There's 48 of us. So we have 3 outsiders as of now.
It's like the insurance salesman that just calls all the family members.
Yeah.
He had a great, he started in insurance. He had a great first month.
Yeah.
And then it just
Second, terrible.
As soon as the family runs out.
So,
What do we got going on? We got some big stuff.
we
Big
do.
stuff.
We're going to get to some stuff, but I just found this interesting. Did you hear about what happened in Nepal?
No.
I only read a story. I didn't.
Basically overthrew their government in just a few days.
Really?
And it was the Gen Z. They're calling it the Gen Z like protest, and because the government banned social media platforms, which triggered the massive protests. But people were already starting to kind of like complain about the government there, and so their attempt to stifle it was to ban social media. Now they said that they were doing the ban on social media because they put new guidelines in place for social media companies that were supposed to register with the government, and they didn't. But that was kind of, I think, a cop-out. But they banned 20, I don't even know that there's this many, but 26 social media platforms, including Facebook, YouTube, Instagram,
big
X, everything, Twitter, all of it. And they didn't like it.
So
And
I read that they had started fires and stuff like that.
Oh
So
no!
what
They
degree?
they protested. From what I understand, there was like 70 some deaths.
Oh my gosh!
But it stemmed from a lot of different things, like economic hardships. There's a high youth unemployment there.
So there's just a lot of agitation.
Yes.
And this maybe was the stone that.
Yeah, and then some of these protests kind of started off as
Peaceful.
trying to be peaceful.
Yeah.
But police came to like shut it down using live ammo.
Live.
Yeah. And then it just escalated to the point where they literally burned down the Capitol. And some of the officials and stuff died. And they actually, I saw a video of them like rescuing some of them from a helicopter, like just taking them up in a.
So we're not talking about just like a minor protest in a town or a city. Like
How
we have
did
here.
I even miss all this?
But see,
Hopefully it's because you're just not on your phone a lot.
No, I don't pay attention to too
Yeah.
much.
That's ridiculous. But so I'm glad, and I hope. Let's say that. I mean, from what it sounds like with what you're reading, it wasn't just social media, because I feel like that would kind of be a little bit of a hard story if only social media was banned and then they started revolting and burning down buildings and people are getting killed. But I'm hopeful that there was maybe a cause for the start of it. Obviously, I would never want someone to die over a protest, or I would never want someone to be burning down buildings and destroying property. But I'm trying to say, I hope that there was more than just the social media, because, and I understand that social media today is where you have a lot of your free speech.
Well, they also
you're able to promote your own views and stuff like that. But I
think it kind of stemmed from a lot of things. Like they thought that the government had lavish lifestyles compared to the people, like, once again, unemployed. But they have half of their population is under the age of 30.
Oh, wow.
So they're kind of like almost the opposite of us.
Way opposite of us.
Where we have a huge baby boomer population, and we have, I don't know. I mean, I would like to look at the statistics of, because, obviously they've had more children in the past 30 years than like in America or the Western countries. But
wow,
but it would be interesting to see, like,
what's their population? How does it compare to?
Let me see.
Is it big or
I'm
small?
pretty sure the United States is 330 million.
So 350, somewhere there.
In that range. But you are right. There is a large, older population in the United States.
Right now, the United States is quite old.
Yes.
Nepal.
In age.
Yes. Now, is that because you've had just a lot less?
See, they have 30 million.
Oh, so it's a tenth of us.
Less than a tenth, yeah.
No, it's still 30 million. It's 30 million.
But I mean, think about it. I mean, your parents had 6 kids. My parents had 3 kids. Right now, I only have 1 kid.
I have 2 now because I'm remarried. I have a stepdaughter. But
I have 1.
1.
I have 1. I mean,
to keep a population going, what was the stat? You have to have like 2.3 or 2.1
per family
to just maintain a population.
And a lot of places are only averaging like 1.6 right now, so it's on a decline.
Especially across Europe, which, their influx of immigration keeps their numbers high.
In reference to population growth, but it's not like actual in reference to humans being born. And
there's
an influx of people, but not an influx of children. Yeah.
Which that's a whole nother story that we can talk about. But what do you think would happen here in the United States if
social media got banned? I mean, if you're thinking about it right now, I think I might be a little too optimistic. I would say that maybe nothing crazy would happen, but
I strongly disagree.
Oh, really?
I think that there was a lot of people really frustrated when there was a talk of TikTok.
Just TikTok. I do remember that.
And TikTok, they have announced that they have a framework together, and Trump is supposed to be meeting with the leader of China, I think this Friday, to close the deal. Originally, whatever entity owned TikTok, the United States wanted them to sell to someone else.
Yeah, whatever that is.
But now I guess they're going to make a deal where an American company can buy in so that they don't have to completely sell it. But
so I would say I'm probably overly optimistic, and I believe that there may be a little bit of turmoil, but I also feel like it would be turned around very quickly. Paul, you believe that it would be chaos?
Oh, I think so.
Joe, what do you think? If the United States, if the government Trump came out and said all social media platforms,
or not even like if it was the Trump administration, but the next administration or whatever.
Oh, that's true. I'm just talking about the current. I'm just saying.
I think
currently.
there's a lot of livelihoods based off of the activity on social media.
I agree.
Because a lot of people were worried about that with TikTok.
They're making money off TikTok.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of money.
Like millions of dollars just because they have a huge
I didn't
following.
think about that aspect. I only thought about just the...
you go back, Prohibition happened.
Those guys were making money.
Listen, at one moment in time, you had every pub and every place that could sell liquor and beer and whatever on the streets, corner streets. You had all the manufacturers of the breweries and distilleries making all the stuff. And then one day they just walked in, they dropped a hammer and said, from moving on, we're not going to do this anymore. This is illegal and we're done.
Destroying livelihoods.
That was a pretty big deal.
Yeah.
But I think you also...
And I feel like that I couldn't imagine living in that time. Where one day you could have owned a very successful business, you could have had a bar, you could have had a pub, you could have been the ones manufacturing all that, alcohol, and then it's just gone.
I mean, we got a taste of it a little bit through COVID, where all of a sudden these businesses couldn't be open.
Mine.
But the whole concept back then and during COVID was crazy because you could literally drive to Home Depot and that place was packed with people.
Yeah.
But yet restaurant couldn't be open.
Yeah.
But to your point, I think with social media, even though it is just social media and it doesn't seem like it should be that important, but it
that's where I'm coming from. Is I don't use it.
But it also on the flip side, it is kind of like a First Amendment thing. This is freedom of speech. It's a way of expressing ideas, and so I think it's kind of a pretty big deal where people, I think, would be really bothered. And honestly, like in Nepal, where they were saying that they thought that maybe this would calm people down because they were starting to have unrest, I think social media, in a good way, like I hear about things that are happening maybe over in other countries from TikTok that I don't see on the news.
Got it.
Different protests and things like that. I mean, now social media could be bad because people can organize bad things too.
But you can also organize things off of social media. You know what I mean? I don't know what would classify as social media. You know what I mean? You have forums you can go on to. You have just websites that you can go and post. It's not necessarily a social media in reference to where you have pictures and you have people gathering in groups and stuff like that. So it'd be kind of crazy to see in Nepal, which is obviously a lot more research. I wonder to what degree that is being restricted. I mean, at that point, you have to just remove internet. Because I can go online and make a website that can do that in minutes. AI can do that.
But off the top of your head, how many social media platforms did you think there were?
Me? Well, once again, for me, it's how do you classify that? I see social media as Facebook. I see social media as TikTok, where there is like that social. I wouldn't, in my opinion, classify, this is just me and my not using it, I wouldn't classify YouTube as a social media, even though it has become that in a way. I would more classify that as just a content creator just outpouring. You're allowed to just post.
But what I'm saying is they banned 26. To me, when I read 26,
so
they're banning a lot.
I also did hear though that Discord. I don't know if you know what that is. It's primarily for like the video game community. From what I understand, I used to use it a lot when I played video games a lot. It's where you can like get online, you can talk to people, voice, you can type, you can make rooms, and they're classifying that as a social media. So if that's the definition, where it's not just like like Facebook, like X, like TikTok, it's more of a
like what is
users
that?
Can get together and talk and chat and have
What is that game that they just made a movie about? Minecraft.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're playing that could be a very social thing, right? You're talking to people.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I don't know all the list of what they banned, but 26 to me seems
like I would assume like Snapchat would probably be considered a social media. You would have, Facebook, YouTube, X.
I don't know if Pinterest would be.
I would assume. I think it is in a sense, but to me, like once again, that's more like I'm just creating. But what is social media nowadays anyway? You're creating content,
right? I mean, there was a time when Instagram used to be really nice when people just literally posted a picture. Instagram was just pictures.
Yeah.
Now it's turned into videos and advertisements and but I don't know. It's just kind of interesting.
I really hope that if something like that were to happen.
So where is it at? What's going on over there?
I don't really.
Still in an uproar?
Yeah, I think so. I don't.
Days ago?
Yeah, just they banned it on the 4th, and I think by the 8th they had
lost control.
Total chaos.
So I don't know now if they've put in a new government or what. But
do you just redo it? You just put it back up just to cause? I don't know. So then what? Right now, and maybe I'm just ignorant, but I remember Facebook like being a thing. I remember YouTube being a thing and coming. Did you just not have that? Did you not have that? I'm trying to say social element.
Are you asking us what it was like before this?
Yes, I am.
100% different.
But I'm saying like you just didn't know what other people were doing. You just didn't know. And I sound like a child. I feel like I'm very young and like
But,
stuck
like,
to it by asking that. But
You could probably vaguely remember it not being there.
yeah, but I was
But like
young.
my daughter is 19. She doesn't know a life
Yeah.
without social media.
So did you just not know what it was going on with?
Like, I know that a neighbor across the street's kid just won a soccer game.
But you just wouldn't have known that.
Wouldn't have known it.
Unless you would have just
And
had that
then you would
conversation.
maybe
So-
talk to them while they're cutting their grass, and I'd say, hey, how's the kids doing? How's whatever?
Or
And they'd be like,
you looked literally at the newspaper.
And that was just, but that's
next
just the
day.
news. That's just the news, though.
But then they would have local stuff.
So, but like if
football.
you think if you watch the news, you're gonna have football, you're gonna have sports, you're gonna have weather, you're gonna have. So, like to me, the newspaper was just the news channel. It wasn't necessarily, and it might have been. I just don't know. It wasn't necessarily a social thing.
It
The
wasn't
newspaper,
social.
to a very minor degree, it may have
no,
had.
because you couldn't.
Because it was one way.
There was just a little bit of time where you could write into the newspaper and they would put an editorial
Mm-hmm.
in, and then like they would, or sometimes they was just starting to get where you could email into news programs and then they would like share your thoughts. But no, there was
you
not.
just didn't know.
You just didn't know.
You just
And life was probably.
My marriage was 19 years ago, and we literally in the newspaper, we did an engagement and wedding announcement.
You don't
In
do
the
that.
newspaper?
Yeah, you don't do that. Yeah, for sure.
My mom and
that was
dad
the big thing.
would
Your
write-
engagement was announced. Your wedding was
with
announced.
a picture of you, and it would be an engagement announcement, and it would be, Joe and so Violi. to
and
be
that many
married.
people read the newspaper.
That was the way that they would let their neighbors and friends and people know that something was happening.
Wow.
Because otherwise,
Anniversaries, 25th anniversary, you would put
You gotta pay for that.
because today, if you want
Yeah.
people to know, you post it on Facebook, Instagram, or whatever. A picture, we just got engaged.
Yeah.
When I just recently got engaged, that's what we
Yep.
did. Everyone finds out. Pre-social media, when cell phones became a thing, you could do a group text to get it out. But before that, if you wanted people to know, you literally had to call them on your landline. So it was but it was a much just slower pace, simpler life.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting.
it is.
It's changed.
Because now everybody, for the most part, knows that something happens almost instantly.
It is almost. I mean, it literally is almost instantly. It is, unless you don't go on your phone when that is being promoted
Right.
or pushed, you don't know.
Right.
Like, or I mean, you know instantly. There's just no delay.
And even if you're not on social media,
But my 82-year-old mother gets updates on all that stuff.
I mean, she's on social media, but like someone like at work, Frank, he's not on social media, but yet he has a couple news apps. One's sports, so if there's a sports-related story, it pops up on his phone and it comes up, and he can like read it. Or if there's a news thing, it pops up on
But
his
not
phone.
the social media.
Yeah.
Wow.
So we just know stuff so fast. But to that point, in a lot of different European countries, they have been protesting about immigration
Yes.
and how
I don't know if I ever did mention it on the podcast or not. I think I might have. It was one of the first episodes. But I think we had brought something up about that, and that it's just that there's two major issues that were going on in Europe. One was the immigration rate from Middle Eastern countries, predominantly the Muslim religion. But then also, too, is that their abortion rate was so high. And that was the one of the drivers on why their average was so low in reference to how many kids versus how many deaths and all that stuff was so low. So those two contributors, I remember reading a story where they were saying, like, if we don't do something, if we don't start having kids, if we don't start just maybe readjusting our immigration policy, we could have a huge crisis on our hands where, normally you would never have to think about something like that. Where like, I think you said the statesman or there's no longer people that are Irish or English.
Well, and that's what part of the protest. One of the guys is like, we have no place to go to. This is our homeland, and we want to preserve it.
Yeah.
Because some of the cities, like 53% of the population in the such and such city is now Muslim. And Muslim families tend to have more children. Western culture, I believe. It's just this mentality from young people that I don't know if I want to bring a kid into this world. And so they tend to wait a lot longer or just not have as many children. So, but that was something that I didn't think I saw on the news. You know, in England or
I didn't know this was happening
in Ireland. I'm not sure which one it was, but it was like they said as anywhere from 100,000 to 3 million people were in the streets.
How do you get that number?
But
So did you see these videos?
when you took the drone,
Massive.
when you took the drone, I mean, it started here and it went down this road and that road and
just a very peaceful, very patriotic protest. They had plain now. Maybe we're not hearing this on the news today because of what's going on in our own country.
Sure.
And everybody's focused on, like I listened to a podcast where a gentleman talks about the news. He's obviously an American. He's only talking about what's going on with, with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And I get that. But we have come to the point to where we now can watch and listen to the world news fairly quickly. So the fact that I didn't see, I was like, what? How do you have three in multiple countries too? Mm-hmm. How do you have 3 million people walking down the street having a very peaceful protest and no one's doing anything about it? No one's talking about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
But once again, that may be just the element of we are focused on very, very clearly on what's going on in our
Speaking
country
of that,
right now.
Do we want to talk some more about that?
Of course, yeah, we can. I mean, just the I finally am now. I was very emotional. It was the same day we did our last episode.
Mm-hmm. A week ago.
And it was 1 week ago today. And
Wednesday?
I was very emotional all that night. Didn't sleep, didn't eat. I was dragging my feet at work for the next couple days.
What?
And sorry. And I even through the weekend, I was just struggling with it. Because one, it was so publicized on everybody can see what actually happened. Instantly, like we were just talking about on social media. In 4K. In 100 different angles because everybody had their phones out. So that did a lot to my mental, but also too, which I don't know how much of a part it actually made, is just the response that the country had.
The reaction to it.
We had one side that was praying, that was holding vigils, that was being respectful, that was just grieving, just truly grieving. And then there was I don't want to say half and half, but there's a good portion of people that were acting barbaric, in my opinion, to the situation that had happened with Charlie Kirk. And it's just...
And that's the thing, like, I think him being assassinated, in my mind, I can almost rationalize that out of what we just said, there's 330 million people in the United States. Of course, there's going to be one lunatic that decides he needs to do this.
Oh, yeah. That makes sense.
It's horrible. It's bad. I'm shocked by it. But I feel like the overwhelming number of people that were so cheering decided that it was like a good idea to make a video laughing and happy about it and posting it. You know, like I spend so much time like analyzing what I'm about to post on social media.
I do with our content.
Even when it's just a simple like family outing.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how people think that way. So I was more shocked by that.
So you're saying you maybe took that part harder?
Yeah, I mean, it's terrible that he's gone, and I followed him, and maybe I didn't agree with everything that he said, but I agreed with a lot of it, 80% or so, and and just the fact that he was like we said last week, a father. A husband. He was young. He was extremely intelligent.
Well, I mean, Medina, the square, had a sea of people.
Yeah. Unfortunately, my wife and I saw it too late.
Yeah.
So we were literally sitting down, and she was like, "Look," and I'm like, "What?" She's like, "They're holding a prayer like dedication."
I mean, it was,
and we were like getting our shoes on. We're like, "We gotta go! Like this is going to be great." But it was too late. But that's fine.
It was something to see in the post to see that.
Reaction
and the square is 6.5 minutes from here.
Yeah.
It's not even it's.
And it was full.
Oh, it was loaded.
I mean, it was full. So you have that side of things, and then you have the other side. Like you said, they're celebrating it, and I don't know if I realized that was bothering me as well. Like I kept thinking to myself, like, I know where he's at. I know his wife had the most beautiful speech that she did not have to do. She did not have to come out to the public and give that speech, talking so highly of him, talking so highly of his movement, and being so strong a day after it had happened. So I felt peace in that sense because I knew where she was at. I knew where I know where he's at, stuff like that. But I guess I never really realized. But also too, it's my friends. It's people that I know, maybe not through direct association, but through mutual association, through social media, that I would have never thought that someone would be celebrating any kind of a death, any kind of an end of a life. And I think that also too is extremely shocking to me. I'm like, what? That person said that? Like, I thought so highly of them. I thought that would never come across. And it really made me have to reevaluate just all of the friendships and stuff that I have and just ensure that.
But I also think that, like, once again, social media magnifies all of that. Because without social media, maybe you see a guy at work and he makes an off comment, well, he deserved it.
Yeah.
Or, well, I'm happy about it. And you'd just be like, wow. And you probably go home and talk to your wife and be like,
this guy said this.
Yeah. But then here we see it and it's magnified by 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. And it was just like a little overwhelming.
And it's also just, I don't know if you guys saw a lot of it, but it was also the news reaction. You know, some top dogs in the news industry at some of these top news organizations were saying on live air, well, you heard what he said, you heard how he talked, he kind of deserved it, or something to that degree. And it's like, what? Like in this moment, you need to be. I don't know his name, but
yeah, he got in trouble for that.
You need to be 100% just giving the facts. You need to have no opinion whatsoever, which you already do so much. You need to have no opinion. The fact that you're going to say something like that, something that is so decisive, was very, once again, just.
And then people are getting fired for
a lot of companies will interview to hire somebody, and then they have their internal scrub social media. Hey, before we're going to actually hire this person, let's just see what we're really.
I remember when that was happening, people started saying, "Hey, watch what you're posting because it's going to really cause issues,
and it'll come back."
There's a lot of little things that people lost without knowing they lost. Meaning, you go in, you do a really, really good interview. Their internal people go and do a scrub. I've heard of it. I mean, I hire people. They're like, look, we did a little bit of, they don't tell the person,
but they
get denied of being hired because maybe what they saw on social media is going to stop that company from wanting that person working for them. So if you don't think that can really affect you, that's silly. But I mean, I've seen it, where college sports athletes have been offered full ride scholarships and then say something or do something poor choice on social media, and they have that completely restricted and pulled and revoked, and they don't get that, and they don't go anywhere to play because of what their comments or their actions are. So it's like, shocked that some of these people would go on there and post the things that they post and don't think that in some way or form it might not come back.
I don't know. Do you agree with it? Do you agree that?
Well, I know of a scenario. I'm friends with someone that's a school teacher, and she was part of the process of hiring new teachers, and a young lady right out of college applied for the job, went through all that, and they hired her. And then someone on that group went back and checked social media. It was already supposed to be done. And they found videos and pictures of her just partying. But with just, maybe she was smoking something or just drinking, and just some of the pictures and stuff was just not good. And they brought it to the attention of the school, and then the school was just like, that doesn't fit our thing, and they revoked the job. And so
if it doesn't fit your values, I see why you would do that.
Yeah, I mean, depending, if you're a company, and I mean, I think if I'm the owner of a company and someone does something that I think is inappropriate and they posted it on social media,
and it has a potential of hurting your company,
right? Like that's
now with the Charlie Kirk comments. In my opinion, if you work in healthcare, if you work in the school setting, if you work in service, handling,
well, especially in the school setting.
Yes,
I think teachers should stay in a neutral zone.
Yeah.
We had a teacher who, we all looked up to and retired, used social media, and all of a sudden
We're shocked.
showed his true colors. But I give him credit. While he was a teacher, he stayed fairly middle of the road.
Got it.
Which, once he was politically one way and, kind of almost nasty about it on social media. So, I think that in certain circumstances, you need to watch what you say and watch what you post.
But if you're a teacher and you posted something celebrating Charlie Kirk's death, I think that in no way should you be trying to incite violence, incite further violence, or cite any kind of retaliation or vengeance. Like that, you shouldn't be doing that, especially in a school setting where you have young minds. So in my opinion, a school in my opinion, you have no backtrack. You're gone.
Right.
In the hospital setting, the reason why I bring that up, or the healthcare setting, is if I were to hold, and once again, I don't know all of Charlie Kirk's beliefs. I would assume from where I'm at, I'd probably be very close to where he is at. If I'm going to walk into a doctor's office and that guy was just celebrating his death and I hold every single view exactly the same, you know what I mean? And he was publicly celebrating it. How am I going to feel safe sitting in his office? Does that make sense? I don't think he's going to actively do something to me, but do you see how that would affect that? Or a nurse or someone in a hospital setting. So in my opinion, anybody that's in healthcare, there should be now it's going to be a big effect on things because unfortunately it was probably more than 10 people. There's probably going to be a job shortage in certain places or
but
in
I think
certain
that
schools.
did happen.
You have to fill that in. What do you mean?
But there was some kind of scenarios of that within the healthcare industry.
And the only other thing is, this is a very minor point, but if you're serving food and you're celebrating someone's death, do you even hold all of these people, but do you even realize, have a grasp on what death is, that you're celebrating that?
Right.
That you have no remorse for that? And you're handling people's food or you're doing something to that degree. It's just scary to me that someone could be in that position and have those.
I think years ago we were much more silver. I don't know if I'm
silver lining.
I don't know what I'm trying to say, but more like we didn't push the envelope and give our opinions about things as much. Like we were brought up where our parents didn't talk about, you don't ask people how much they make. Mm-hmm. You don't talk about religion. You don't talk about politics. That's not something that you do in mixed groups. Mm-hmm. But you brought up his wife, and I happened to see something right before I came here. She was previously talking to someone about how they met. Mm-hmm. Did you ever hear how they met?
No.
So she was, from what I understood, because I kind of missed the beginning, she was intrigued by him and by his organization. Mm-hmm. And she went and interviewed to work for him. They were holding interviews. She went and interviewed to work there. And she's like, they kept me there for 3.5 hours. She's like, people are leaving. I interviewed with him, with multiple people, back to him, blah, blah, blah. People are leaving. I'm still sitting there. I'm waiting to find out. And he comes over to me and he's like, hey, I just want to let you know, unfortunately, I am not hiring you.
Oh, wow.
And then she's like, I didn't need the job. So I was kind of like, oh, okay, I don't need this job. That's fine. That was worth a try. And he's like, I plan on dating you.
Oh.
And then she's just like, oh, really? And he's like, yes. He's like, what are you doing tomorrow night? I'm going to clear my schedule.
Wow.
And she's just like, oh, well, why don't we start off being friends? And this is how smooth he is. He's like, listen, I don't want to be your friend. I have plenty of friends. And then she's like, okay, well, let me take some time to think about it. And he goes, how about you do me this? Go out tomorrow with me. She's telling the story. And she's all giddy about it. Go out with me tomorrow night, and then you can take as much time as you want to after that date to think about it.
Oh, wow.
And then the rest is history, which is really
cool.
Yeah.
And I don't think, if he really thought that there was going to be a future with her, he didn't want her working with her because he didn't want to cross the lines and muddy up the water, and he was doing the right thing. And can a guy be friends with a really attractive woman?
Yeah, that's true.
Age-old story.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of hard.
That's very, very good point. Through it all, I've had a lot of time to reflect, and there's 2 and possibly 3 things. I remembered one thing literally right before I hit the record button that I wanted to bring up that I am going to actively change. 3 things, yes. I'm going to actively change in my life just because of this incident and just because of Charlie Kirk. The first one is that in his wife's, I don't know if you want to call it a speech or a monologue or a remembrance, she said that he was a very, very good man, a very, very good husband, and a very, very good father. And the one thing that really struck me, and I'm going to say this as a broken man, as a faulty husband, is that she said with conviction and supposedly told a lot of his friends after the fact that he never raised his voice to her in anger. And I am a faulty man. I'm not going to sit here and say I'm perfect. I've raised my voice at my wife before, and I feel terrible about it. I feel terrible 5 minutes after the fact. But your emotions get to you. I think after hearing that and knowing the man that he was, I'm going to make it a point in my life to never yell and raise my voice at my wife, no matter the circumstances. That's point number 1. I think like that's something I should have been doing, and I'm going to make it a point to do that. Not that I raise my voice at my wife all the time. I'm not trying to say that. But second point is that I'm going to, he said a week before his passing that, what did you want to be remembered for? Mm-hmm. And he said, I want to be remembered for not being afraid to share my faith. And I think that's
a man of strong faith and not being scared.
Courageous in it.
Which I was going to thought about bringing that up because that's really interesting, because if someone asked me that question, immediately my response would be that I was a good dad, or that I was a good husband, or that I was a good, family person or friend. Yeah.
But now when he says that, he's not saying I want that selfishly. He's saying that so that way he can be a good husband.
Well, no, I agree. Yeah.
And for everything us, we're very worried about. I'm very worried about being a good husband, a good father, and teaching my son good things. And I also need to take a step back and realize that as long as I have an affection and a love for Jesus Christ, it's going to flow into my relationship with my wife and my son, stuff like that. So that's my second point, is I want to be courageous in that. Obviously, being extremely respectful and being extremely thoughtful in that, and meeting people where they're at, he had an amazing skill of doing that.
Yes.
He had someone standing in front of him that had the exact literally the opposite view. And he would ask them, what is your name? What brings you here? And he was so...
Tell me about yourself.
Yes, it was amazing. And then the third thing is, in my life, talking people face to face, I've been, in reference to political aspects, someone will ask me my opinion, I may maybe hold back when they're not. And not that I want to prove myself right or prove them wrong or whatever it is, but I think I also need to take a step to say, as long I hold every single part of my views on politics, I view them biblically. That's how I try to live my life. As long as I'm reserving myself to that aspect, I know I'm not doing anything wrong by holding that political view. As long as I'm not doing it to be mean to the other person, I think I'm going to not be afraid anymore. To say something because I'm afraid that I'm going to offend them.
Or be judged.
Or I'm going to be judged for that. Because
I think that where he was really misunderstood is that I think he was just speaking his mind. He was had strong convictions about things, and he wasn't necessarily doing it in a way to be mean to someone else.
And the radical left has a tendency of, when you don't agree with them, especially on things like transgender, or you're not affirming their life. Because the things that they're holding on to are, things that affect their every single day life. It's not just like, what do you think about the border? So if you don't affirm my political beliefs, you don't affirm me. So you don't like me. So I can see where that comes from, but you're right. It was just giving his opinion. He wasn't afraid to say it. And it may, to any of us, maybe be like, whoa, like you're just coming out and saying that. But that's what we need to do. We just need to say what we have.
And that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to have conversations.
Yeah.
Back and forth.
And his thought process was the one and only way to drive America in whatever way you think is best is by having conversations, is by talking to the young people, to being able to be proven wrong. I've seen him on multiple occasions because I was watching videos where he was like, you know what, I think I might be wrong in that aspect now that you've been listening to you. You know what I mean?
His wealth of knowledge on the most
biblical,
all-encompassing topics.
He would pull.
I could not believe when
he's 31. He's
I know.
30. When he accredited that to just reading. He said, "I just read
there's
all
a difference.
the time."
There's a difference between reading.
And retaining.
There's a
I
big
don't
difference
retain
between
when I read.
reading and retaining. And his gift was retention of information.
Yeah, it was.
And able to use it in so many massive amounts of opportunity for any kind of conversation and topic. I couldn't believe how you could talk about just about anything
and
get it
yeah.
and know it. Like must have had a photographic memory of some sort, because how do you retain that kind of information and store that information to be able to use it in so many different conversations?
The shooter said, or the alleged shooter said that why he did it, because there was some texts that have come out between him and his roommate, boyfriend, that they read those texts.
Yeah.
And then I think there was some communication between him and his parents, because his parents were the opposite view of what he was. But he said the reason why he did it was because he spews hate, and the hate needs to, what he thinks needs to be ended.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is that his Charlie Kirk's organization, Turning Point, he wanted satellites of that, or chapters, he called it, and he wanted it ended up being a chapter of that organization on every single high school and every single college or university in the country. I heard one of his side people in that organization, pretty high up, partners, came out and said that as of just a day or two ago, that since his death, they have had 37,000 applications from high schools and universities to have a chapter at that school. So, whatever he thought he was trying to stop is... Yeah.
So, to update those numbers even more, I listened to his podcast, which he's now having JD Vance on. He's having all his friends on to fill in for his podcast. As of yesterday night, they had 40,000 applications. 2 weeks ago, they were brainstorming, and he said, I want to be in every single high school, like you said, across America. And he was saying, that's got to be 30,000 high schools? And then someone did the math, and they're like, no, it's 25. He's like, okay, we're going to hit 25,000 schools. That's what we're hitting for. I was stretching. I was doing a far stretch goal. I want it to be 25,000. They're like, well, geez, that's a pretty lofty goal.
Now think about that. I don't know how many universities there are or how many high schools there are, but
now that goal is...
And his whole point was that he thought... I watched a little documentary on the news the other night. He thought that school... all the way through was too much on the left side. How they taught, what they said, there was a bias to the left, and he said, we don't have the conservative mindset in schools, or you would have to go to a certain school to have that kind of mindset. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
But just back to the point I was making and what you said, because it kind of confirms it. We also have learned that the boyfriend was trans-identifying. And he says, I need to stop the hate that he spews. Going back to that. he's not spewing hate. He's not being hateful in his rhetoric. It's just the fact that anybody is not saying you're correct, you're right. And then that right there is destroying that person's life.
Because
so in a sense, you can say...
In some of his interactions, he said that it's not possible for you to change your DNA.
Yeah.
So you'll always be a man or always be a woman. But it wasn't like he was going to shun the person if they...
Yeah.
So
you sent me a video where the person was like, I hope you he was like, I'm praying for you. What is your name? I hope you can find the joy and peace with your own body. No one else is going to tell you that. But it was a really nice interaction, and she was really polite with him. He was really nice to her. You know, he's shut down a few different people. I remember watching one video where a guy's like, you know, it's wrong to be gay, and he's like, and this guy was upset because Trump, in his either on the campaign trail or at possibly his inauguration?
Not the inauguration, but when the party picks the person officially.
Or RNC something, yeah.
Yeah. Had someone speak that was gay. And this person in the audience was really upset about it. And Charlie Kirk's like, what is it? Why do you have a problem with what they do in their own personal life and at home? Yeah. And then he kind of was talking to the guy, and he's like, yeah, you're not a conservative if you have a problem with these people. He's like, at Turning Point, there's people that I've hired and we have that are in same-sex relationships. He's like, but they have conservative beliefs, and so even though he would say that according to the Bible, it's wrong to be in a same-sex relationship. But so, I mean, I get why people didn't like some of the things he said because they didn't agree with it. That's fine. Jamie Lee Curtis, I heard. She was doing an interview. She's very left. She was talking, and she's like, I probably don't agree with anything that he said. And she's like, I probably think most of it is abhorred. But as she's speaking, she literally breaks down and starts crying. And she's like, but nobody deserves that.
Mm-hmm. Nobody.
And she's like, he was a husband. He's a father. Lives are ruined because of this. And she was sobbing. She started almost to sob. Mm-hmm. And she's like, this is wrong, blah, blah, blah. So you know what's happening to her? Supposedly there's a movement by the radical left saying she has an upcoming movie coming out. Let's not go to see it.
What?
Because
you having emotions about someone dying.
It's crazy. And our brother just sent us, and I'm assuming it's true, and I'm looking it up now, but ABC pulls Jimmy Kimmel Live off the air indefinitely for his Charlie Kirk comments.
No
and
way.
I vaguely last night saw something real quick that he was saying something not right, and I thought to myself, I was going to bed, I'm like, I have to look that up in the morning. I never did. So I'm not really sure what he said.
Wow. Once again, if you, I don't think if you are promoting that, you're happy about that. You obviously you can't criminalize them because once again they're giving their free speech, but you need to take them out of society because they shouldn't be allowed in society. You know what I mean? A society doesn't flourish if you and I can't go to Medina Square and have a conversation and disagree with each other without one of us fearing our lives. So if that's being promoted, we can't have open discussion. That means both sides are going to be drawn to the opposites, and it's going to get worse and worse and worse until it boils over. So that's why you can't have that. And if that means you're losing your job, you have to do something. You can't, you know what I mean? So
I'm trying to find what he said, because the Federal Communication Commission chair suggested that ABC's broadcast license was at risk from Kimball's statements about Tyler Robinson, who is accused of murdering Charlie Kirk. So I don't know what.
There's an interview from Johnny Carson from a lot of years ago. Mm-hmm. And somebody was questioning him, like, why don't you get a little more involved? Why don't you push, topics more? Why don't you? He goes, there's no place for me. Mm-hmm. He goes, I'm on TV. People turn me on. They watch my show. I am not here to push the narrative one way or the other. He goes, I come on this show. I talk about what we talk about. I try to keep it neutral. I don't go that way. He goes, I never will go that way. He goes, that's not my position. And Johnny Carson, I think, was extremely successful for a lot of years for his talk shows. And he never went in one way or the other.
To that degree.
He just stayed where, So it's interesting. It's interesting to see.
But it is, because, why do they have to go there? They said that, who was the other guy?
Because we identify as that.
Corbett, when he's going to be taken off because
his ratings
have gone bad. But some people surmise that it's because for the past however long, he just constantly is making fun of Trump. And I think people just
getting tired.
When you turn on those shows at night,
you're getting away.
You want to get away from all that bullshit.
Why do you watch sports? Why do you watch sports? Because people can come together.
Make me laugh.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That was the Tonight Show.
And if I was going to,
then they would have fun interactions with
Saturday Night Live. That's that. Yeah.
If I'm going to bring a comedian on my show, or a movie star on my show, or an athlete on my show, and we're going to talk, we shouldn't, or they shouldn't be. And that's what Johnny Carson was like. He's like, I'm not going there. It's not what I want to do.
Yeah.
And there was an interview with him.
He says that.
And Johnny Carson had half the world on his show.
Oh yeah.
Through those years.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if someone would stay away from all that,
they would be better.
Oh yeah. So I guess he said on Monday night, the mega gang desperately trying to characterize this kid who murdered Charlie Kirk as anything other than one of them, and doing everything they can to score political points from it. So this is what I'm shocked by. I'm totally shocked that he was killed, and that there's one random nasty person in the world that would do it. But this reaction afterwards, people getting taken off the air because they just, it's one thing for someone to be stupid in the head and think they're happy that this guy died. It's a whole different level of stupid to put it out there.
Mm-hmm. It is.
For everyone to see.
It is a whole nother level. And then be mad that you're getting reprimanded.
But then it takes me back to, I think none of these people are doing this because they think they're evil. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
they think that they're in the good position.
They think they're in the right?
Yeah. I mean, they do. Well, otherwise, they wouldn't post it.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is we think that we're good, and that has to be, people talking like that is wrong or even possibly evil to celebrate someone else's death. But they don't see themselves as that.
They've got to know.
No, I don't.
They've got to know.
No one thinks that they're evil.
I was getting tires put on my car at a tire shop 6, 7, 8 years ago. And I'm sitting in a little room like this, and the TV came on. And I think it was close to an election or about an election or whatever. There's an 82-year-old woman sitting there, and we're just her and I. And something came on. And I think somehow her or she or I said something like, man, this is different. Mm-hmm. Politics have become really different. And she says, when I was younger, if my parents voted for a particular president and they didn't win, we never spent the next 4 years wishing poor things on the country or wishing poor things on that president. We would sit in our house, or my parents would, and say, hey, wasn't the guy we wanted, but let's hope this guy does okay. Let's hope this guy does what he can to
this is what he thinks right.
Keep the country moving forward. let's not wish poor things on him or wish poor things on the country. Let's not hope that he does such a bad job that we fail as a country to prove him wrong. We would just say, hey, let's hope when the next election comes back, maybe the one we preferred wins. And she's like, but it's gone.
It is.
She said back then, before this has gotten quite different than then.
How long ago do you think that was?
7, 8, 9 years ago.
Oh my goodness.
she makes the comment then, and she says, it's not that way anymore. She's like, unfortunately, if the guy you voted for didn't win, you
lamented the next 4 years.
You're like literally hoping and wishing that it's a failure or they do bad things or something happens. And she's like, it's just not how it was. And she's like, it's not how it should be. And that's just like an 82-year-old woman sitting there getting service done on her car. And it was an innocent conversation, but it resonates with me because that still pops in my mind today. Like, man, and I know my parents, married in 1962 or whatever, they pretty much follow the same as her. Hey, if the guy we voted for wasn't the one that got put in the office, okay, it's not the end of the world. Let's just hope the country keeps moving.
So you're saying
forward.
within 2 generations it turned on its side.
Oh, it's yeah. So it's.
But I think that's what it like. Each side, especially politically, call the other side bad. Call the other side evil. They have evil this, that. Want to call one side fascist, one side this, or refer to people as Hitler, which is so insane to me that you would refer to someone as Hitler, which is the worst person ever.
The only way I could see you referring to someone as Hitler is because who is like the epitome of bad? Who is the epitome of evil? Like who, when you, like if there was a human that
so
you
they
could
so
say,
maybe they don't mean it in the,
but no, I would say that 10, 12, 15 years ago, if you said someone was Hitler, it wasn't because they were like the epitome of Hitler. They were as bad as Hitler.
You were just
it was
trying to
just
call
saying
them,
like, oh,
they're
this
bad.
person's very bad. But I don't think that people calling anybody Hitler or a Nazi is not, I wouldn't be surprised if in their brain they truly thought that they were that evil. Does that make sense? Like they were on that level.
But see, this is what I'm trying to say. Trump does what he does because he believes he's doing good for the country.
Yeah.
And then this side calls him Hitler, not a Nazi, fascist. And they think that their views of what should be happening for the country is good. So both sides, what I'm trying to say is both sides think that they're in the good.
Yeah.
Which is so ironic.
But to this, how can you, and with any notion of death, think that that's good?
Well,
so that's why I'm telling you, they have to.
but they don't think, I'm telling you right now, those people don't think that they were doing anything wrong. They thought that this was, obviously, they thought it was a good thing. And that's what.
Man, that is rough to think about. Well, if you guys want to continue and we have any more things that we can, if not, I have a feel-good story that I think we could easily end on if you guys are willing and able. I think when we first started the podcast, we said we wanted to do this, but I think now we have to. We have to start ending on good stories and having good stories. And so
But we would welcome comments.
Yes.
Let us know what you think about all of this that's going on in the world, but especially with Charlie Kirk and
with what's happening in the United States. But also just be respectful, be kind, because that's what we are called to do. So, good feel good story. There's a guy who drives into a drive-through. He purchases his ticket. Girl hands him the ticket, says, "Have a nice show." He thinks she's
drive-through, drive-in.
Drive-in.
You said drive-through.
Oh, they're at a drive-in. Gentleman goes through a drive-in. He purchases his ticket. Girl hands him the ticket, says, "Enjoy the show." He thinks she's very attractive. They end up dating. They end up getting engaged. And they then go and purchase the oldest drive-in movie theater in the United States for $1 million.
Wow.
Now, I think that's just very cute.
Yes.
That you met at a drive-in and now in your marriage journey, you're purchasing the
Oldest. Where is that? Do you know?
I don't know for sure.
I should look that up. That is nice.
It's worth $1 million. I thought that was very sweet. Then I thought to myself, oh, how is a drive-in movie theater worth $1 million? That drive-in, which is the oldest, which supposedly is only selling children's tickets for $9 and adult tickets for $13. So not something crazy. I just went to the drive-in with my son and my wife. It was $12 for an adult and $7 for a child. So not much different. Might be a different state, different. They said that because I guess there was a lot of comments and like, are you guys going to be okay? Supposedly that drive-in in 2024 made $550,000 in 1 year.
That was the revenue, or that was?
I think that was the revenue.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that is pretty incredible that a drive-in.
Well, I mean, a drive-in.
The land could be worth it.
Well, yes. Like the one that I'm thinking about over in North Ridgeville.
Yeah.
That land is pretty valuable.
If you bought that piece of property, it's worth quite a bit.
But also,
Right off the highway you're talking about?
Yeah.
That's one we just went to.
Yeah.
We
Which
went and saw Toy Story.
I've always thought it would be great to own.
It would be
Because
great.
sometimes I don't think drive-thrus always ran the best. Like I think there could be a better concept to it. Like if I owned a drive-in, I think I would be like, you stay in your car, pull up our app. We have all of the food that we have. We'll bring it out to you. You're in spot
That would cool. That'd be
90, order, it'll come out to you. Popcorn, pop, whatever,
You don't have to wait in that line.
You don't
and
have to
all
go
that
get
stuff.
in the line. You don't have to do that and have a faster process. So maybe someday I might
Ooh,
buy
that'd be
one.
cool.
But also, like here in Ohio, you have maybe 8 months, not even, that you can. Like if this place was in another warm climate area, then they could have it all year round, which would help.
Yeah. I just think that's very.
But drive-ins are fun.
Well, we went and saw Toy Story. It's the 30th anniversary of Toy Story. I can't tell you how many times I've watched
30-year anniversary
of the first Toy Story.
Yeah.
30 years.
Yes, very so it's a very cool moment to have. But it was the first time I think that I know of that my son, who's 3, sat through an entire movie at a drive-in, which there's a lot of things going on.
Yeah.
Sat through the entire movie and was like interacting with it. He was giggling. He knows the lines and he'll speak it with the movie.
Well, tell him, how old is he?
3. He's 3.
Oh, did you say that?
Yeah. Mhm.
Oh.
Yeah, he just turned 3. So to me, it was like it was one of my. That's an experience I'm gonna remember for a long time. And of course, it was this past weekend, so I was really trying to soak up the moment and really just being tight with my family. I saw my brother over the weekend, and I made it a very good point to give him a huge hug and just tell him I loved him, because family, after this whole incident, to me, I needed to have it. I needed to be in it.
Right.
But, which is another thing, I appreciate us doing this. But it is an amazing experience, the drive-in in general. And I just think it's cool that they did that. It would be cool to own one and do that. So it's not a crazy feel-good story, but
We could start with the 2-car driving
just 2 cars.
right in my driveway.
Yes.
Paul, you could bring out popcorn.
Yes. We got to get a nap.
We don't even need an app.
Well,
Just ring the bell.
now we can walk over and just talk to him. But when you have hundreds of cars there, I mean, that would be a good concept.
That's a great
Why
concept.
is that not happening? Don't anyone steal that from me. I'm patenting.
Should I take it out?
Take it out.
I've got a great idea. And it just goes boo the entire time you're talking.
But I don't know why we don't have that.
Maybe we do. We just don't have any.
Yeah, maybe there's a drive-in that does that. Something.
Another feel-good story is we had the celebration with all the birthdays for our family. And Owen's birthday was part of that. And I would sit there on the patio and be like, hey, where's Owen? Have you seen Owen? And he'd stand right in front of me. And he would look around.
Yeah, he was.
He would look around and he goes, me?
And we're all like,
no, have you seen Owen? Have you seen Owen? He's like, me?
And then he ran away. He went, where am I?
Yeah.
He went over there and he goes, here I am.
Yeah, it was great.
It was.
No, it was a good. I don't think the party was. It was planned way before any of that. happened.
Yeah. It just was good timing to get everyone together and be together, and we really didn't talk about it, I don't think. And which was nice. We just had a good time, had some good food and
company. It was,
and,
great. It was a good time.
But back to your point, because I don't know if I said it, but the 3 things that you took away from this that you want to strive to do better are good, but I've noticed myself reflecting that I need to make a better effort to be going to church, better effort of just learning, reading the Bible, and just trying to be a better man. And I think that was what he
was big onto that.
Yeah.
And churches supposedly saw one of the largest influxes of attendance, to the point to where there was a Catholic parish that they are like very, very formally dressed. You know, my church, if I went in this, I would be accepted.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be looked upon in any weird fashion. But he said at their church, he saw all the seats were filled. And he said he saw the largest number of people in sweatpants and in slippers. And he said he loved it. He was just like, the person that I was talking to, he was like, this is great. And to that point, if I saw somebody like that in my church, I'd be so ecstatic and excited and like
a new person.
Yeah, a new person. But even if they were in the attire that wasn't necessarily appropriate for what are, you know, the church's standards, I would be very excited. And supposedly it was because I saw TikToks where people were saying, I have zero knowledge of who Jesus is, but I feel very inclined to open up my Bible and read. And you know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just, I hope this could be the ending point if you want. And I'm not trying to be ironic. I'm not trying to be punny. I really hope this is the turning point for the country. And that was what his organization was called, was Turning Point. I really hope that we can all come together.
Well, it could go either way, unfortunately.
But that's my hope. That's my prayer.
A changing point to good, and hopefully it is, and hopefully it doesn't go the other way. Which I feel in seeing that there wasn't any, and I hope there isn't going to be any like retaliation type of actions, and there wasn't any crazy protests or riots or anything like that, which is good. So hopefully you're right.
There was a moment, a day or two after, I was like worried. I was like, wow. Like, I don't know if you guys ever felt this when you guys had young kids. I was like, man, like my son's got to grow up in a place where they're celebrating and people are getting killed for just speaking. I was getting really down and like worried. You know what I mean?
But I mean, to the point of what I think I was trying to talk about at the end of last week is that, like, although it seems like sometimes this is just a lot going on now and it's a lot of bad, but there's been a lot of bad that's happened all throughout time.
You're 100% correct. It's just my bad.
I mean, I wasn't alive, but in 1968, and I don't know which one was assassinated first, but I think it was in March or April of 1968, either Martin Luther King or Robert F. Kennedy was...
It wasn't John F. Kennedy?
No, John F. Kennedy was early. It was his brother.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you're right. I'm sorry.
So one of them was like in April or March of 68, and then the other one was like in June or July. So, I mean, imagine living during that time. I mean, Martin Luther King, I mean, just an iconic person of wanting change, you know, just... So, you know, it just... It's been happening all along.
Or in your guys' shoes, I was alive, but I don't necessarily remember a lot of it, but 9/11.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? For that.
And I would like to think that it's a little, but you don't know it, but we remember it. Maybe you remember it.
I very minorly.
But September 12th, the day after, the 2 days after, the 3 days after, the week or so after, the amount of unity that the country felt, and like everyone was polite to everyone. There wasn't the mean and nastiness. And I think that, you know, September 12th, looking back at today's time, would be very disappointed. Like we've come, it's going to be almost 25 years next year.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
That, you know, in 25 years, there's a lot, there seems to be a lot of hate going on. All right.
Thank you, everybody, for watching.
Yes.
Please subscribe, like, comment, and we hope you enjoyed.
One day we'll tell you that we're at 1,000 subscribers.
Finally, you can dance and get excited.
I just don't understand how you haven't made more accounts or the fake Chinese accounts.
I need to start buying them.
Yeah.
You start buying the accounts.
50 at a time.
50
50. Remember when we did the first one and I asked you if it was
and we were at 14?
We were 17.
Oh, 17.
And you're like, 1-7?
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much, everybody.
Yes. Bye.